stand up. Who are we? The Washington Commanders, double-digit underdogs, hand the Philadelphia Eagles their first defeat of the season. Looks a little worse in the end because the Eagles pitched it around. Washington recovers for a score. And they are victorious, move to 5-5. We head back to Lincoln Financial Field where Joe and Troy join us as they do every Monday night. And Troy, I'm starting with you tonight just because to work our way backwards from what we saw most recently, the Eagles are about to get the ball back. And as a quarterback, there are rules designed to protect. But I don't know, Brandon Graham, I mean, by definition, it's a flag, but it effectively ends the game. How do you react to the call?
Well, as I said, I mean, it's just a tough way for a game to end.
Right.
It's the right call, like you said, but we see a lot of calls made over the course of a weekend or over a season that affect an outcome of a game. And it was the right call as far as how the rule reads, but it's just you don't walk away from the game feeling all that great about it. And I don't know what the answer is to that. It's clear Brandon Graham was not doing anything malicious, but it is what it is. I don't know. We were talking about it earlier that at a time when we have instant replay and we're able to review things, they missed the face mask earlier on Goddard. Yep. And yet when they go and they review whether or not he fumbled, they see that it's a face mask, but yet nobody can do anything about it. I never was in favor of instant replay. I don't think the game's any less controversial with it. In fact, in many ways, it's more controversial. So it kind of is what it is, and we have to accept it.
Right, so that's, to me, I wouldn't call it minutia because it was significant. And yet, if we look at the game, Joe, in its totality, Washington goes in there, everybody's talking about Philly, and with good reason, but this wasn't an accident, right? They turned Philadelphia over more than they have been all year. They possessed the ball all night. Offensively, they did what they wanted. I just wonder from your perspective, if you got the sense that Washington came up 95, a confident team prepared to deliver a performance like this.
Well, I think Taylor Heineke is a guy that's not going to back down from any challenge. I mean, I feel like he's playing with house money. Yeah. In his mind, he was a guy that was going to walk away. He was a backup in the XFL. I mean, that's not usually the route to the starting quarterback for an NFL franchise, and he's actually over 500 in 19 starts with the Commanders. So I think he is as advertised. He's a guy that will roll the dice. He's a guy that will take chances. And on nights when those chances work, it looks really, really good. But they ran the ball 49 times. They weren't gashing the Eagles' defense, but they stayed with it. They had manageable third downs. They dominated that down, and they took the ball away. It's a lot of what Philadelphia had done to get to 8-0. And so they kind of flipped it on them. And, Ron Rivera walked in here and had his team ready to go.
Right, if you possess the ball, then you keep Hurts and that offense off the field, and that recipe worked beautifully. And you both, at the end of the game, land in a place where, we do our show here in Washington. There'll be a lot of conversation about who's his quarterback when Wentz's finger's right. It feels like right now it's Heineke's team, doesn't it?
Oh, it is Heineke's team. I mean, we could have called it before the game ended. I mean, even if they had gone on and lost this game, this has been a different football team with Taylor Heineke at quarterback, and we all understand that. We all saw what Washington looked like for a good part of this season, so I would be shocked. I just can't even imagine there's a decision to be made. You come in on the road, you beat an undefeated football team, and it wasn't like they were convinced that Carson was the answer to begin with. So it'll be Heineke going forward. I think it's a good thing. You can feel the energy that he brings. Joe talked about it. He is playing with house money. And as far as tonight's game, the blueprint is what it is for Washington, that they have struggled in the offensive line. They have to be able to run the football. And they were able to do that, more importantly, convert on third downs, as we talked about. But then the other side of that, the defense has to do their part. There's a lot of things that have to happen for the team to be able to win a game like this. And that's why everybody had their hand in it. It obviously was not just Taylor Heineke.
No, Terry McLaurin, who's going to join us here, and he's waiting to join us, but I'll ask him just to be patient for a moment, if he would, just because I grew up in this town, and I have a long memory. And I remember back in 91 when there was an undefeated team here, and there was an old banged-up quarterback coming in Dallas, and y'all weren't vintage. You were 6-5. You had a thumb and a nose and all sorts of injuries. But y'all are 6-5, and you beat Washington. And I just wonder what it is about the NFC East, familiarity, the competitive juices. It's not shocking when the upsets happen. I wonder what you recall most vividly about leaving with a win.
Well, I take offense to you saying this old broken down quarterback. I was 25 years old. I was in my third year.
Didn't you have it? But you had a thumb injury and a broken nose. I'm not making this up, am I?
I went down. I may have looked like I had a broken nose, and I went down in the third quarter with a knee injury. Steve Berline actually came in off the bench, and he led the team. I got credited for the win because I started the game, but Berline's the one who actually, and Washington went on and won the Super Bowl that year with Mark Rippon being the league MVP. So we all dated ourselves. There's a lot of people back home going, 1991, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, McLaurin's waiting like, I'm waiting for a conversation about 1991. It's Terry McLaurin, for God's sake. Get him on the air.
That's fair. Joe, Troy, you're done. We'll talk to you from Mexico next week. As always, gentlemen, your time's appreciated. Thank you, boys.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. This is a little graphic by way of segue. How about the NFC East, everybody? Washington now fights back to get to 500. The entire NFC East is in the playoff picture. You got the Giants at 7-2. Dallas, they surrender that 14-point fourth quarter lead to Green Bay. And now Washington hands Philadelphia its first loss. Terry McLaurin, very patient. I apologize. I talk to Joe and Troy every weekend.
I appreciate you.
Man, we went down memory lane there. When the entire world, Terry, is talking about the other team, and no one's giving you a whole bunch of a chance, I just wonder how motivating that is for the locker room you're in.
Yeah, we've been going through a lot this offseason, ups and downs, outside noise and people counting us out. But, I don't think we necessarily use that stuff as motivation, honestly. We got great veterans, great leadership, and we got a great group of young guys in that locker room. And we're really resilient, man. We trust each other, and we put a lot of work in with each other since the spring and the OTAs. And just to have the opportunity to come out here on Monday Night Football to show what we're about, to take it to a really good football team and play a four-quarter game. I just said into the locker room to our guys, this is what happens when we set the tone. We have a chance to win a lot of football games, and I'm so proud of those guys in that locker room and the way we stuck together today.
Terry, I often say about life, and not just about sports, but you can certainly apply it, that belief is a powerful thing. Confidence is a powerful thing.
Definitely.
And it is clear that your group has both of those things. And I just wonder, over the course of the last month or so, when did you start to sense that it was developing and growing? Because it's evident.
Yeah, I think we've done, some great things all year, honestly. We moved the ball. We've gotten stops when we need to get stops, but we just weren't finishing, and got to have in situations in the red zone, third down. We had to be better offensively, and defense has done a great job of creating more turnovers. And I think we're just doing a lot of better job of playing complementary football and giving ourselves a chance to win football games. And, we're really confident playing four-quarter football. And when you come into an environment like this on Monday Night Football, it's going to take a lot against a great team like that. And, we have a lot of confidence in that locker room right there, but we know if we can minimize the self-inflicted wounds, that we're going to have a chance to win games, and we showed that tonight.
Terry, look, I grew up here. I live here. I'm not trying to inject you into the headlines of the newspaper and in talk radio, so this is not a loaded question. I'll just ask you, what would you say about the play of your quarterback over the course of these last few weeks?
Yeah, Taylor Heineke is a guy who plays every play like it's his last, man, and he gives us a chance to win football games just the way he wills the way he plays. And I think just his toughness, he's willing to fight for the extra yards. He's going to give me 50-50 ball chances along with the other skilled players. And I think we rally around him, honestly. And, we're just so lucky to have a guy like that who has taken his opportunity and ran with it since he came with us in Tampa a few years ago. He just gives us a chance to win, and the heart that he plays with, I feel like, is infectious. And, I'm really happy to play with a guy like that who's like gritty, you know what I mean? It's dirty, it's nasty. Yeah. But you love playing with guys like that because they elevate the other guys around them. And, I think we have a chance to be very successful with him or Carson, honestly. I know Coach Rivera and the coaching staff is going to put the best guy in the situation to help us win games. But what he's done the last few weeks and, the roller coaster ride we've been on has been awesome.
Very well done there, sir. And by the way, 128, I don't know where that puts you on the Buckeye wide receiver tote board for the week. There's so many of you guys playing on Sundays and Mondays, it's hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
But way to play tonight. Congratulations on the victory. Safe trip home, and I appreciate you stopping in tonight, all right?
I appreciate it, Scotty. I just want to let you know it means a lot to be able to talk to you, man. I watch you a lot on TV, and I got a lot of respect for what you do, so I appreciate the time.
Well, that's very, very kind. Look, we're local, man. You can come hang out if you're bored. Like
anytime.
I can give you directions. All right.
Invite me up, bro.
We got a seat right here, like Stanford
Let me
Steve.
know.
He sits over there. You can sit right here. All right, Terry. Take it easy. Thanks for the kindness.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
All right, man. You too. All right. Plenty more to come on the Commanders snapping the Eagles' perfect run. Ryan Clark's going to be here to break down the film on exactly what Washington did right against that Eagle defense inside the victorious Washington locker room. And Justin Jefferson's catch of the year made all the highlights on Sunday. We'll show you a 4th and 18 and raise you a 4th and 22.